What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who Classic Review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 6th Doctor Colin Baker story, Attack of the Cybermen. So this is Colin Baker's second story as the 6th Doctor. However, it's the first story for season 23. Season 22, sorry. Yeah, a little bit weird. For some reason the Twin Dilemma was at the end of season 21. But then, his first story. But then his second story was the beginning of season 22. I don't know what they were going with there. A little bit weird. But yeah, this is Attack of the Cybermen by Paula Moore. The TARDIS is lured to Earth, London, 1985 by an alien distress signal. Investigating, the Doctor and Perry stumble upon an attempted bank robbery staged through the London sewers by a familiar foe, ex-Dalek agent Lytton. But who is he working for this time? For they soon discover there is something far nastier lurking in the sewers, Cybermen. Why do the Silver Giants need a time machine? What is their devastating plan of attack, and what does it have to do with a catastrophic event that happened long ago in the Doctor's past? So we've got a nice little plot kind of synopsis on the back of the DVD there. Attack of the Cybermen. Yeah, the 6 Doctors run in with the Cybermen. And this was my first time watching this story, and I thought it was okay. I've heard mixed things about this one. Most people saying that it's not terrible, but it's not one of the great Cybermen stories, or really one of the great stories altogether. But I was interested in seeing what it would be like. I'd seen a couple of clips online, and stuff like that from this episode, so I was interested to see what this one would be like. But anyway, let's start this one off with the cast. So we've got Colin Baker as the 6th Doctor. Now, like I said, this is the 6th Doctor's second story, so Colin Baker's second appearance as the 6th Doctor. And, I mean, he's okay. He's okay in this one. I don't think he's quite found his feet here yet. And personally, I don't think the character's written particularly well. From what I can understand, it's definitely his first few stories where he's not written amazing. I mean, Vengeance on Varos, I think he does start to pick it up a bit. He's still a bit rude and annoying in that one, though, and I mean, this one here, I think he's definitely very, very rude. Now, I haven't seen the Twin Dilemma, and honestly, I'm not really looking forward to seeing it because from what I've heard, it's really, really bad. And the Doctor is just such an unlikable character in that story. So I don't think he's quite as bad in this one, from what I've heard. But this is definitely the worst I've seen the 6th Doctor, so far anyway. Yeah, he comes off as rather rude and annoying. So yeah, he's just not very likable, especially at the start of the story. We'll get into more of that later, but yeah, I think the way Colin Baker, his acting though, is very, very good. It's just the way the character's written. We also have Nicola Bryant as Perry Brown. Once again, I've said it before, Perry's not my favourite companion. She really isn't. I think the accent is, because obviously Nicola Bryant is an English actress, however she's playing an American character, and I think later on into her run, she does better with the accent, she does it a lot better, but earlier on, I just think that accent is rather annoying. And yeah, I think also her character just isn't the most exciting. She's a very much just ask questions companion, in my opinion, especially in this story. So yeah, personally, I'm not the biggest fan. Once again, I think Nicola Bryant, apart from the accent not being amazing, I think she does a very good job acting in the role. Just the character herself, I'm not the biggest fan of, and also the accent doesn't really work for me. The only other person I really want to talk about is the actor playing Lytton in this story. I haven't actually got his name up right now, but he does a pretty good job. Obviously, Lytton was in Resurrection of the Daleks, which funnily enough, I actually reviewed, I think it was only like 3 reviews ago, so only like 3 weeks ago, so it's pretty fresh in my mind, Resurrection of the Daleks. I didn't even know he was in this story until I read the back of the DVD before watching it, so that was a nice little surprise. And I thought his inclusion was actually pretty good. And yeah, the actor, like I said, I don't have his name up right now, but the actor who plays him did a very, very good job. Alright, so now let's go on to the good and the bad of Attack of the Cybermen, starting off with the good. The TARDIS changing its appearance is pretty cool. I mean, we have this now and again especially in Classic Who, well really only in Classic Who, where the chameleon circuit actually works. The Doctor fixes the chameleon circuit in this episode, and I think that's pretty cool. I'm not 100% sure, but does he what ends up happening in the end? Because, he fixes it at the beginning, and And then from what I remember, it wasn't really mentioned again, and after that it doesn't work again. If that is brought up, if I've just forgotten about it in this episode, or if it's something that comes up in a later episode, please do tell me. But from what I can understand, it's not really explained. He fixes it and then is kind of just like, okay, well, it's now broken again. But yeah, I thought it was really cool finally seeing the TARDIS change into some other things. I think they have done it in the past. I mean, they did it with the Master's TARDIS quite a bit, but I don't know, it might have been done with the Doctor's TARDIS, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I haven't seen all of Classic Who yet, so yeah, I thought that was a really, really cool little thing. You know, we had the TARDIS changing into a piano, and a couple of other pretty cool things, which was very, very strange, but a little bit different, so yep, I quite like that. Bringing back Lytton, like I said before, I think is a pretty cool thing. You know, he was in Resurrection of the Daleks. He was kind of one of the high up people that were kind of working with the Daleks at the time, but it all kind of went wrong in the end for him. I thought bringing him back was pretty cool, so yep, he had a very nice place in this story. Lytton being tortured by the Cybermen, that is a very, very brutal scene. Now basically what happens is Lytton gets his hands crushed by the Cybermen, the Cyber Controller, who, by the way, let me just say, actually no, I'm not going to go into that yet, we'll go into that later, but the Cyber Controller basically, because I think Lytton, I'm not 100% sure, but he wants to work with the Cybermen in some way, but then they kind of, you know, they don't agree with him, and they end up trying to, obviously like the Cybermen do, trying to convert him into a Cyberman to be like them, and they torture him. They basically grab a hold of his hands, and they crush his hands, and there is blood coming out of his hands. Now, I'd seen that scene prior to watching this episode, but I didn't realize that this episode was rated U. Now, Classic Who seems to have a very, very kind of mixed all over the place rating system. Some of them are rated U, sometimes they're PG, sometimes they're not 18, 15 is it? I think? Yeah, sometimes, or something like that, or 12, I don't know, something like that. It's like U, PG, and I think 12. And yeah, this one's only rated U, but honestly I think it's the most bloody and violent episode of Doctor Who that I have ever seen so far. And from what I understand, it's one of the most violent in the series, so making this episode U rated, I think is really, really weird. Why is this rated U? I mean, Logopolis I'm pretty sure is rated 12. Why is Logopolis rated 12 when this is rated U? With all the blood and crushing a man's hands. Yeah, very, very brutal stuff. I do quite like it. I do like the brutal nature of it, but I think maybe a little bit over the top, especially when you're giving this a U rating. I really don't know how they got away with that. Finally, for the good, the Doctor's fight with the Cybermen at the end. I thought, once again, that's another scene that I have seen before, but I thought that scene with the Cybermen, where they were all running in trying to get the Doctor, but he grabs one of their guns, and he just, you know, shoots them all, and I think that was a very nice action-packed scene for Colin Baker and the Doctor there. I just thought that was a really cool scene. It's always nice to see the Doctor doing some action hero stuff. I mean, yeah, he was killing the Cybermen, but I mean, you know, what's he gonna do? I mean, I suppose the Cybermen, they were originally humans, so they're basically dead anyway. You know, been turned into these mechanical creatures, basically. So, you know, I think, honestly, in some ways, I think killing them is almost more it's kind of mercy killing, really. You know, it's like, I don't know, but so I thought that was really pretty cool. And then, you know, when he goes into the TARDIS, there's a couple of Cybermen in the TARDIS. We have some pretty cool scenes there as well, with him killing the Cybermen, and I think Perry shoots the Cybermen as well. So yeah, really, really good stuff there, some great action scenes. Alright, so now to the bad. So first of all, I did briefly mention it before, the Cyber Controller. I believe this was the second appearance of the Cyber Controller, and yeah, is it the Cyber Controller, the fat one? I think it is, because you have that guy, and then you also have the cyber. Is it the cyber leader who has the black head handlebars? I might be getting those two switched around, but one or the other, the fat one, which at the moment I'm going to call the cyber controller, whatever. He is, yeah. I mean, his voice and everything's pretty good, and I think the actor that plays him is pretty good, but he's a bit fat, and it doesn't really. It looks ridiculous. I don't have anything against fat people, of course I don't. Why would you even think that? But I just think it's a bit, I don't know. It's kind of weird for a Cyberman, you know. Cybermen, they're all supposed to be, you know, they're all very, very similar looking. They're pretty much the same looking. You know, they're made to be these strong, brute force, basically soldiers, military soldiers. And then their leader is this pretty overweight dude. and it's like, oh, okay, that's a bit strange. From what I understand, I'm pretty sure they got the same actor who played the Cyber Controller in Tomb of the Cybermen. And he wasn't fat then, but I guess now he's fat, but they wanted the same guy back, so they got him. But that's, yeah, it's a bit weird. The Doctor comes off as rather rude and annoying. I said this earlier. Yeah, the Doctor is just rather rude in this. I don't like this Doctor. I think later on he does get better, but in this story especially, and from what I understand, the Twin Dilemma, he's a pretty rude and annoying. He's such a dick to Perry. Like, Perry's asking questions, and he's so rude about everything, and I don't like that. He really looks down to Perry, and it's just very, very rude about everything. And I like the Doctor being a little bit rude. That's just kind of what he's like. But I feel like he's far too rude in this one, you know. Everything that Perry says, he thinks she's stupid, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. It's quite slow until the Cybermen show up, and to be honest, even after that, it's pretty slow. I almost fell asleep watching this episode. Given I don't think it was really because the episode was boring, it was more because it was a little mix of that, but also I'd been working all day and I was pretty tired from that, so I think that's why, you know, I always get quite tired. I was watching it fairly late in the evening. But yeah, this is quite slow. I mean, there are some great action things in between and at the end, but I think all in all it is a little bit too slow. It's only a 2-part 45-minute one, you know, 45 minutes each part, but yeah, it is rather slow. And then finally, the Cryons look really weird. The Cryons are these weird creatures with these really big bulbous heads, and they look and sound really, really weird. Yeah, they were all right in what their purpose and what they were there for, but as designs and just how, I don't know, how they turned out, yeah, not the biggest fan. Alright, so what did I think of Attack of the Cybermen? I thought it was okay. I think there was definitely great moments in there, but there was a lot of other stuff weighing it down. So at the moment, I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. I think it's just a little bit below average for me. I do think I like this a little bit more than some people. I definitely have to watch it again when I'm not really tired, because I think me being tired, kind of, you know, of pretty much falling asleep, it was just because I was tired. It wasn't because I was bored of the story. So I definitely need to watch this one again, but at the moment I'm going to give it a 6.5. But anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.